Welcome back, everyone. This is King's Playroom, and today you get to find out where I've been. I know you are used to me playing Shadow of War, but this game, the series, really has been sucking up all my time, and I'm trying to get my buddy to play it, and he just refuses. He's very stubborn. He doesn't like that it's in Japanese, and I really don't blame him that you have to read all the subtitles, but I'm trying to get him to play it. So here is going to be 7 reasons you absolutely need to play this game. And maybe I'll convince some of you out there that haven't played this series to give it a go. We'll find out, and hopefully you guys enjoy the video. Pause for dramatic effect, right? But anyway, before we hop in, if at any point you like the video, click that like button. And I can't list all the reasons I enjoy this game, so if you have any more you would like to drop in the comments for people to read, that would be awesome. And click that subscribe button if you would like to see more videos like this. This is my first time doing a video this way, and I did really enjoy it, so let me know. Yeah. Let's get into it. Obviously, the first reason you need to play Yakuza 0 is because it's a prequel. It is the start of the timeline. I know it didn't come out first, but it is canonically, whatever we want to say, it is the beginning of the series. So, whether you play 1 first, like it was supposed to be played, and come back to 0, or you start with 0. 0 is a great place to start. It's where I started because I had access to all the games and I got to choose. I know some of you guys didn't have that option if you played it originally, like on the PS3, but going back to 0 is great to see where all these characters come from. And like, I think you appreciate the prequel more if you had played the others first, but you don't need to have played the others in order to, appreciate 0. You don't, yeah. I know what I'm trying to say, and words are hard, okay? Now moving on to number 2, if I can figure out how to speak, is the open world. I mean, you get to run around in Japan. It's great. You get these guys off to my right here. I'm going to turn around and go back and grab one. They're handing out pocket tissues, which I hear they actually really do in Japan. And they usually have like business information or something on them to kind of like advertise. But we got this huge map that you get to run around in, fully explore. I mean, you get a bunch of cafes. You got a bunch that are marked in orange. You got a bunch of shops that are yellow, and all sorts of entertainment that is marked as purple. Like, you got the Pocket Circuit Stadium that you get to race little pocket cars, and you get bars, and you get karaoke that you can do, which I'll get into more later. But there's so much to do in this world that you could play for hundreds of hours and still not be bored, and still probably not even do everything. Like, I gotta say, I've played for 75, 80, maybe 100 hours now, just in 0, and I haven't even touched karaoke outside of when I had to do it for the story. I barely did disco. I hated disco. But that's just me. Some people enjoy it, and I'm talking about the open world. I'm talking about the open world, not the mini games. But it's great to walk around this city, and it's just so beautiful, you know? Like, there's so much to explore and to find, and you know, it's just can be overwhelming, but it's great. As you're exploring, you'll come across these guys in distress, and you can choose whether you want to intervene or you can just walk away. It's completely optional, but it is worth doing because they do give you a reward afterwards. And you see how I'm glowing pink? It's called heat mode. And when you're in heat mode, you move faster. And it allows you to pull off certain abilities. Like I had a button prompt up there for clicking triangle, and I had a heat symbol. That's a heat mode power. And I didn't use it, and I should have, but I missed the prompt. But yeah, I got a reward, and we'll move on. Look at that intro. Like sometimes they'll take a swing at you, and you'll avoid it, and it looks really cool. But anyway, back to heat mode. Makes you move faster, and if you get certain upgrades, it'll make you take less damage too, which is kind of cool. But you always want to be in heat mode because moving faster is always great. But it's a lot of fun to just run around and beat people up like this. And you find them all over. Sometimes they attack you, sometimes you instigate the fight, and it's great. And you might be wondering what I'm doing. Like you see the rush and the pink, and you might be wondering what it is. And rush is fast and agile, so it hits quick, and then you can dodge out of the way really quick. But you can switch. Like I just switched to beast mode with my D-pad, and it's beast mode is kind of like the opposite of rush mode. It's really slow, but it hits hard. And I switched again, opened a brawler, which brawler is kind of a mixture of the two. It's faster than beast, but it also hits harder than rush. So it's kind of your middle ground. But there's also a fourth style here. You can't unlock it until you do a specific side quest, but it's called legend style. And this is great. You glow white, which looks really cool. And there's one of those heat move actions I told you about. They look awesome. And they do lots of damage. But you always got to keep that heat meter up by hitting enemies. It will raise the meter. Getting hit will lower the meter. And also it'll decrease over time if you're not doing anything. But legend style is kind of a mixture of the three different styles, which is kind of cool, but it is also my least favorite style. I prefer rush, but you get to tailor your fighting needs to your specific style. If you like fast hitting, you can use rush. If you like slow lumbering attacks, you can use beast. Or if you like a mixture, you can use brawler, and it's all fun and dandy. In my opinion, these are the best fights of the game. Mr. Shakedown. And he's called this because he literally shakes you down. If he beats you, he will take all your money. No matter how much you have, he will take it all. And they're really powerful. Like, you'll see in this fight that he sends me flying, and takes a good chunk out of my health bar. And it's great, but losing all your money is bad. But also, if you beat him, you take all the money that he's previously taken from you. And so you could accumulate mass amounts of money this way if you can, if you can survive. And I use rush mode here because it's quick. I can get in a few jabs and then dodge out of the way. It's great. And I'm pretty sure he hits me here in a minute. But boom, look at that. I went flying. That health bar went down quite a bit. But, you have health items. It's not terrible. As long as you're paying attention and you're diligent, you should manage fairly easily. But the problem with Mr. Shakedown is that it's not like once you beat him, you're like, okay, now it's more of an inconvenience type thing. You see him, you gotta fight him. Blah. No. He gets more powerful, more health, does more damage every time you beat him. So it's not like you can just adjust to the fight. I mean, you can get cheese weapons to use against him, like tasers. You can find tasers, and I hear those are really good to fight Mr. Shakedown. They stun him, of course, and so you can do that, or you can do it the old-fashioned way, like I'm doing here, and just kicking him. And you see off to the side, it's a get 26,000 yen, and when he hits you, it takes away that yen, which I don't really get, because at the end you either lose all your money or get all his money. So I don't really understand why it's on that, but it looks really cool popping up. And I prefer using Rush for this, just because I don't want to get hit. But these are by far my favorite fights in the game. I was told that there's actually a locator that will put him on the map for you, so you can intentionally avoid him if you want, or you can intentionally seek him out. But in the beginning of the game, when you first find him, you mostly want to avoid him. And it's great. You see, there's a storyline behind Mr. Shakedown, and you learn a little bit more about his story after every time you encounter him, which kind of makes it worth, I mean, if you enjoy the story, it makes it worth finding him and fighting him. But the thing is, this one is Igashira. There's actually multiple Mr. Shakedowns. This one, I think, this one wants to be the strongest living creature. But they all have their own motivations and their own reasons for fighting. So I think I've seen 3 different Mr. Shakedowns so far, and they're all different. They all have their own motivations, reasons for fighting you, but they all intentionally seek you out, I swear. It's like you find them when you don't want to find them. Wait, like I said, here's another Mr. Shakedown, and this one's different. This one is Sato, and he has his own reasons for wanting to fight. He doesn't want to be the strongest living creature. He wants like, I don't remember what he wants. He wants some money for some reason. I think he wants people to pay for his extravagant tastes, which is his reason for shaking down people. But don't quote me on that. But you see, this Mr. Shakedown, he doesn't have quite as much health because I haven't fought him as much. So that kind of makes it easier. But it's nice if you want a little challenge, if you want to take some time to get some money. It's decent money if you get good at the fight, or if you just cheese him, which, yeah, if you're in a hurry, I recommend it. If you don't want to get thrown across the room like that, then bring stun guns, bring weapons, because I never use weapons, which I really should, but you have an equipable weapon that you can pull out with down on the D-pad at any point in time. I never use weapons, which I found out after playing. I played this whole game with no weapons, but I moved on to Kiwami, and I found out how nice weapons were. So don't sleep on weapons. You get plenty of them, and you should really use them. The side quests in this game are some of my favorites I've played in any games. They're funny, or they're meaningful. Like this one. This one's about a fortune teller I stumbled upon, and she tells you apparently she is never wrong. So you're kind of curious. You want to go see what this fortune teller is all about. So you'll listen to this conversation. You'll get a pop-up, and then you'll go to where it told you to go. Like, they wanted me to go to Champion District, and here she is. And she's very mysterious. But like all the side quests have their own little quirk. Like I remember one side quest where I had to escort basically Michael Jackson. I mean, his name wasn't Michael Jackson, probably for copyright reasons, but is basically Michael Jackson. Had the moonwalk, had everything, and I had to escort him through zombies. He had to walk down the street doing his moonwalk, and I had to fight off zombies from knocking him over and killing him, or knocking him out, whichever one it was. It was for a movie, so it was like killing, but it wasn't really. So that's one example of just wacky side quests. And another one that sticks in my memory is I had to help out a dominatrix because she was having trouble getting into the role, so I had to take her to a park and enact a role, like play a part in this and tell her what would be good to say. And it was hilarious because these kids, we were at a park, so there was these kids that came up and were like, "What are you doing? Can we play?" And we just kept on playing the part, and shortly after, the kids are like, "I don't know what you guys are doing. This game's weird. We're gonna go away," and they leave. And it's so hilarious. And it's great. I chuckle just thinking about it. But those are two side quests that stick in my mind very vividly. One of my favorite things to do is to play all these mini games. There's so many mini games thrown into this game. And this one here, I'm showing gameplay of my favorite mini game that I've spent hours playing. And I'm running a cabaret club. You get to pick the girls. You get to micromanage literally everything in the club, whether the customers are leaving happy or they're leaving upset or everything, basically everything. And it's so much fun, but there's so many more mini games that you can play. Like I mentioned karaoke earlier, where you just sing. It's basically a rhythm game, which I'm not very good at. So I'm not very good at karaoke, but it's fun to play even though I'm not good at it. And there's also disco, which I absolutely hate disco. I can't get the rhythm down to save my life, but it's fun to watch the dance. Like you can see that they're dancing in the background and you can watch the dance, and it's all well and good. It's all fun. And then you also have like pocket racers, where you get these little motorized cars, motorized vehicles, and you race them around different tracks, and you can buy parts for them and upgrades, and you get to race against in different tournaments, and it's all sorts of fun. But there's so many more. There's like mahjong, which I don't know how to play. Don't know a thing about mahjong. Or there's what other kinds of mini games are there? There's lots. There's so many. But they can all be enjoyable. You can sink hours into each and every one of them. But for me, the Cabaret Club host is my mini game of choice. And I highly recommend that you get into it. At least to try it. Because who knows, maybe you can sink hours and hours into it too, and ignoring the main story and then forgetting where you are by the time you leave. And last but certainly not least are the RPG elements that are in this game. Remember how I told you needed lots of money? Well, this is the side quest that allows you to earn lots of money, like billions and billions of yen. This is Kiryu's businesses. He owns these businesses, and you'll start collections, and you gotta wait for time to pass in order for them to be ready to collect. But in here you get all the stores you own, their locations on the map, tell you how much they make you, and you can invest in these properties to make you more money, which you're gonna need. Like I have 6 billion yen here, and you'll go into your abilities. You'll find, like, I'm going to click on Brawler, and you'll get this little, like, skill tree, basically. And you're going to want to branch out. You start in the middle, you have to follow the connecting paths, but they constantly cost more and more. Like, this ability that I'm about to unlock increases my maximum health, right? But it costs 1,000,000,000 yen for me to sink into. Which is why I said my money earlier would just disappear like that. Because on the outer rungs, it costs whole bunches of money. But it starts out relatively easy. Like, that's 100 million, which in this game, it sounds like a lot of money. But you get money relatively easily. So it's not hard to acquire, but if you want mass amounts of money in order to fill out all these trees, you're going to want Kiryu's business side quest, which is also how you unlock the legend battle style. So, you know, two birds, one stone. You get the fourth style, and you get mass amounts of money in order to max out your skill tree. And if you're anything like me, if you love RPGs, then you're going to want to max out these skill tree. Like, some of these skills I'm not even going to use. Like, they give you certain abilities, and, like, holding L1 and pressing triangle, like, that's guard stance. That's, if you hold L1, you block. And I don't block very often, so I'm not going to use that. But I want the other skills that are past that, so I have to get that skill. And I love to watch the circle fill up, all light up. So I'm definitely going to buy all of these, every single one, whether I need them or not, just to make it all nice and shiny and pretty and glowy. But if you're anything like me, if you love RPGs, then you'll love this aspect of the game. You'll love making money and spending it in here. And if you're not like me, well then, you can avoid it. You can avoid it for the most part. You can just get the abilities that increase your health. But you can't entirely avoid it, but you can do the bare minimum if you so desire. But if you do enjoy RPGs, this is something you're going to want to max out, like, completely.